What if you turn the Sahara into a giant solar farm? The Sahara Desert is one of the most extreme and unforgiving places on Earth. It stretches across 9 million square kilometers, an area roughly the size of the United States. It's dry, scorching, and empty of most life. But imagine for a moment that instead of endless sand dunes, the Sahara was covered with millions of shimmering solar panels, stretching from horizon to horizon. The entire desert transformed into the largest solar farm in human history. The idea is tempting because the Sahara gets a lot of sunlight, more than almost anywhere else in the world. On average, it receives around 3,000 hours of sunshine every year. That's sunlight nearly every day for most of the day, and it's strong sunlight too. A single square meter here could produce hundreds of kilowatt hours of electricity per year. Cover the whole desert, and the numbers become mind-bending. In theory, you could generate more than 100 times the amount of electricity humanity currently uses. In other words, enough energy to power the entire planet, with plenty left over. At first glance, it sounds like the ultimate solution to the climate crisis. No more fossil fuels, no more greenhouse gases from power plants. Cities could run entirely on clean energy. Electric cars would dominate. Factories could run without a hint of coal smoke. And the sheer scale of the project would make it the most ambitious engineering feat in human history. But, as always, the reality is far more complicated. First, there's the heat. Solar panels absorb sunlight, and while they turn a portion of it into electricity, the rest becomes heat. If you cover millions of square kilometers with dark, heat-absorbing panels, you change the way the Sahara reflects sunlight. Right now, the desert reflects a lot of solar energy back into space because of its pale sand. Replace that with panels, and you trap far more heat in the environment. This could raise local temperatures, changing air currents, and possibly shifting rainfall patterns, not just over the Sahara, but across the globe. Some climate models suggest that the change could actually increase rainfall in the desert, turning some of it green. That might sound good, but it could also disrupt ecosystems thousands of kilometers away. Then there's the sand itself. The Sahara is full of it, and sand gets everywhere. Dust storms can whip up billions of tons of fine particles and send them into the atmosphere, crossing oceans. These storms would blast across solar panels, scratching them, covering them in layers of dust, and cutting their efficiency dramatically. You'd need constant cleaning on a scale never attempted before, possibly using vast amounts of water in one of the driest places on Earth. Desalination plants might have to be built along the coast, pumping fresh water thousands of kilometers inland just to keep the panels working. There's also the problem of getting the electricity where it's needed. The Sahara isn't where most people live. The biggest consumers of electricity are in Europe, Asia, and the Americas. To use Sahara's power, you'd need a massive network of ultra-high voltage power lines stretching across continents and under oceans. This would require an unprecedented level of international cooperation, as well as the huge investments in energy storage, because even in the desert, the sun doesn't shine at night. And then there's the political challenge. The Sahara spans over 10 countries. Who would own the solar farm? Who would get the profits? How would you protect such a massive, valuable installation from sabotage, theft, or even war? Building something of this scale would require agreements between nations that often don't see eye to eye. A global project in a politically unstable region could quickly become a geopolitical nightmare. Still, the potential is staggering. If humanity managed to pull it off, if we could overcome the engineering, environmental, and political challenges, it could change the course of history. The Sahara could become the beating heart of a global clean energy network. Countries could buy cheap renewable power instead of drilling for oil or mining coal. The reduction in greenhouse gases could slow climate change dramatically. And the sheer inspiration of the project could unite people in a way few things ever have. In the far future, some dreamers even imagine combining a Sahara solar farm with other giant energy projects, like orbital solar arrays or massive wind farms in the oceans, creating a global energy web that powers civilization for centuries to come. But perhaps the most surprising effect would be on the desert itself. More energy could mean more infrastructure, more people, and possibly even efforts to terraform the Sahara, using some of the electricity to desalinate seawater and irrigate the land, bringing plants and life back to an area that's been dry for millions of years. The Sahara, once a symbol of emptiness, could become a hub of innovation and a green jewel in the heart of Africa. So, what if we turn the Sahara into a giant solar farm? In theory, we could power the world many times over. In practice, we'd have to solve some of the hardest environmental, political, and engineering problems humanity has ever faced. It's a vision that's both breathtaking and daunting, proof that sometimes the biggest ideas are the ones that make us realize just how small our current ambitions really are.